I joined the militia, the 5th Field Regiment in Brisbane at Kelvin Grove in 1936, and I operating the field guns, 18-pounders and 25-pounders, and as the gun layer and acting gun sergeant I could hit an anthill over a hill reasonably quickly, and I thought to myself, well, if I can shoot that accurate, I'm going to get up there and make a hard target. But it didn't work out that way, unfortunately. The Germans, of course, had these Tiger tanks, and they were smart. Boy, they were good. They just knocked these tanks of ours out without any trouble. And I don't know how many, but I believe it was something in the region of 400, 500 tanks were destroyed. Well, you can imagine the carnage and the wounds that we took back, the horrible burns. But we flew in tandem with the 3 or 4 aircraft, and we used to take 21 back on stretchers at a time. And under no circumstances were we allowed to give them anything to drink or anything to eat. Well, it was probably an hour and a half, I suppose, to get them back, and then they were transferred into field ambulances and field hospitals. And hopefully that some survived, I wouldn't know, but I don't think many would have. It was a huge wind, and they were dropped miles from their actual courses. Instead of inflicting any damage, of course, they had to survive. And this chap, 2 of them I met in the camp afterwards in Bari, PG 65, I'll never forget that one. They said they walked for 10 days and drank the fluid out of the radiators where they can, even drank their own urine. And they cut bits of rubber off to cover their feet because they'd lost most of their equipment. And eventually they were captured by the Germans. Some got back. How many I don't know, because I never ever met them. The British intelligence was a bit behind the times. In fact, we learned out later it was 2 days, and we flew straight into the German forces. And they had approached right up as far as Benghazi, and we were flying below Benghazi until we finished a little place called Antolate. We were flying off course too. We had a crosswind, and it was about 30 degrees off course, and we were shot down by the 15th Panzer Division, Ack. We were only flying, it was a ground missile, so we were only flying about 500 feet, 600 feet, so we crash landed, and the second pilot did a terrific job. The first pilot had shot. His left leg was mangled, he couldn't fly, and the second pilot wasn't injured at all. He landed the aircraft in flames. We didn't have parachutes, so we couldn't jump out anyway because we were carrying personnel. We weren't allowed to take parachutes if we were carrying personnel. I got out of the aircraft and it was burning, and I'd been shot with this small arms fire shrapnel up the leg and through the abdomen up the arms. But I managed to get out. And the second pilot said, would you help me? And out of the hatch in the front, I went round and we got the first pilot out onto the ground with the observer, who was an Australian lad, Tony Carter. He was killed. He copped the full blast of the small arms fire. And the worst thing I had to do after all was to go and see his mother.